In a sweeping advisory opinion, the ICJ found Israel's continued presence in the occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem and the West Bank, was unlawful, and called on the General Assembly and the Security Council to consider further actions to ensure the occupation ends. Almost 2 months later, a push in the General Assembly to achieve just that. Even though GA decisions, like the advisory opinion, are not legally binding, but reflect legal and global sentiment on any issue.
The court fulfilled its mandate by unequivocally identifying the legal consequences for Israel. All states and the United Nations, and by placing them before the General Assembly, the Security Council and all states to take the necessary measures to ensure compliance with international law. This was a historic opinion. Let me repeat. This was a historic opinion, as this was the first time the court examined the Israeli occupation as a whole. Now that the court has answered the request, it is time for the General Assembly to uphold its mandate and for all states to uphold their own obligations.
Israel's ambassador rejected the effort in the GA, calling it diplomatic terrorism that uses the tools of diplomacy not to build bridges, but to destroy them.
Where are the negotiations, the deliberations? You have allowed the Palestinians to become the ringmasters, and those who vote for this resolution are playing their part. This resolution distorts the flawed advisory opinion of the ICJ. It ignores the truth, twists the facts, and replaces reality with fiction. It ignores completely. I didn't hear Mr. Mansour mentioning Hamas for the last 30 minutes he spoke here. It ignores the Hamas terror attack of October 7, ignores Israel's legitimate security concerns, and seeks to remove Israel's ability to protect itself. From the beginning, we all know that this process was politicized. This was not a quest for legal clarity, but a predetermined attempt to delegitimize Israel on the world stage.
The resolution demands Israel withdraw its military forces from the occupied Palestinian territories, including its airspace and maritime space, ceasing immediately all settlement activity and dismantling the parts of the barrier wall constructed and situated in the OPT, allowing Palestinians displaced during the occupation to return to their original place of residence, making reparations for the damage caused, and immediately comply with the provisional orders of the ICJ issued in relation to South Africa's case, accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza. Pretoria is co-sponsoring the resolution.
We urge the international community to continue to put pressure on Israel to abide by the orders of the ICJ. We further call on those who have influence over Israel to go beyond mere condemnation and to exert real pressure on the country's leaders to stop the bloodshed. We wish to highlight that the international community cannot proclaim the importance of international law, including that of the UN Charter, and apply it differentially. We should not pick and choose which binding orders to abide by and which to set aside or simply ignore. A colleague earlier pointed out this is not an a la carte menu. Enabling Israel to simply ignore decisions of the courts and the United Nations with no consequence is negatively impacting the integrity of international law, including international humanitarian law and the organizations that are tasked with their administration. Israel's continued disregard for the rulings of the ICJ undermines the integrity of the court and harms the capacity of the institutions of global governance to end impunity.
Israel's key ally, the United States, has also expressed itself against the resolution.
Of a one-sided resolution that selectively interprets the substance of the ICJ's opinion does not advance what we all want to see, and that is progress toward two states living in peace, side by side.
seek the territories captured by Israel after the 1967 war, including the West Bank, East Jerusalem and Gaza, for a future independent Palestinian state. A decision on the GA draft is expected Wednesday as debate among member states continues.
It is so decided.
Sherman Ricepeas, SABC News, New York.